Yeah, so what I think was missing from it was the engagement with the material itself. Right? I don't think, and it's hard. Everybody, like I said, everybody doesn't know how to go inside a book and find what is this book actually saying.
Right.
Because the themes, the clothes that it wears are the words that describe the book. But what is the actual, what's going on here? And I don't think that the director totally grasped that. And because he didn't grasp it, he wasn't able to tell Lance, okay, look, this is why Dutch feels like this. This is where this is coming from, right? So this is what it is. So and because he didn't have that, what he brought was what he's been bringing to other roles. I think he could have made a phenomenal Dutch had he been able to have a director that would have engaged him. You see what I'm saying? So I think the problem in the situation we'll talk was the director at that particular time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And again, I only say that because we all can get better. And if you take offense to criticism, then you must think you're the best. And then once you make that statement, then I gotta come for you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because if we can't get better, then we need an ISO, then we need a 7 to ring.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, but if we both can get better and we both acknowledge that, then we can teach each other and learn from one another.
Yeah.
That's the best way to engage. That's the way we grow.
Yeah. Man, you got you know what? You got director qualities too. You make a hell of a director.
I mean, anybody who writes is gonna want to have control over what's written. So, you know what I mean? And they name it a director. That's just the motherfucker who is in control. Don't do this and do that. So I would love to direct. But again, I go back. I tell you, man, listen. My director is Albany Nazir. I'm telling you, this from here on out. It's in a lot of ways, man. It's a lot of things that if I write it and she ain't directing it, I ain't getting it to you. Like, in certain things I ain't got no problem with. But this one is, anybody got a chance to Google her, to look her up, her name is Abeni Nazir. She does videos, she do commercials. She's about to do a movie, like, and she's an animal. Like, and again, Muslim sister, so you know, I mean, you already know I'm gonna be a big fan.
Yeah.
So, you feel me? Like, again, and no disrespect to any other way of life outside of Al-Islam, whether Sunni, Shia, the nation, y'all, the earth, the Moors, everyone that's standing on that flag, I got love for. And our black people in general, I got love for. But man, ain't nothing like a Muslim. Ain't nothing for real. Like, ain't nothing like our Muslim arrogance. It ain't nothing like our Muslim humility, man. And when you combine them two, man, you got a hell of a motherfucker, man. For real.
Motherfucker, I agree 100%.
Like, I'm saying, because I grew up with sisters. I grew up with, and that's what gave me my respect for black women. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some women, some men who don't deserve respect. So don't get me wrong, I'm not going to disrespect you because you're a woman. You know what I mean? I respect you because you deserve it, whether you're a man or a woman. But black women, black Muslim females taught me so much because you can't just tell them anything, right? Because they've been schooled about, you know what I mean? Like, you got those who come in and be like, yeah, the dean is this, that, and the third, and they'll tell you more about the thing than you know, and now you shut down looking crazy. You know what I mean? Because you just can't tell them anything. And so I have so much respect for the way Muslim females are raised because they're so, you know what I mean? They're blunt. They'll tell you what's on their mind. Right. They're articulate.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so
they know their dietary habits. They know how to feed you. They know. They gonna
keep you on point. They're gonna keep you on point. They're gonna be like, what you doing? Like, you slipping. What is you doing? Right. You know what I mean? And I love that about that. Keep me on my toes. That's the job of a king and a queen. Yeah. You know what I mean? Keep each other on our toes. And I think a lot of times right now that's what's missing from black relationships, that we not keeping each other on our toes. We give it up too fast. And we decided that, it's about what the major culture is doing as opposed to what we need to be doing. Boy, that's a whole nother topic. My main thing is, like I said, man, like, those directors that I got big up for, like I said, Albany Nazir, Queenie, my little sister Queenie, she's an animal as well. Like, listen, these individuals here, they up and coming. And I champion black women directors, and the reason is because they have another viewpoint. Yeah. Right? They have nuances that I think that's missing, and they tell stories that I think need to be seen and heard.
Yeah, I agree. Kezi.
Please, brother, can you tell us what the American Humanist Association means to you?
Oh yeah, no doubt. So with humanism, what happened was about 6 years ago, you know, I really, in a lot of ways, again, that's why I say I stepped away from religion, because of the fact of the aridity of religion and what people take religion to be. Spirituality is, I mean, it's been said 1,000 times, but it's true. Spirituality and religion is two different things. So, but humanism is about engaging each other, engaging us without saying, because let's be real. If one man is a Muslim and another one is a Christian, I don't care how much they smile, how much they break bread, both of them think the other one going to hell. Right? It's no question about that. Like, yeah, but you good, but you gonna burn to hell for that shit. You don't believe in Jesus. Another one like, yeah, you gonna burn to hell for believing in Jesus. So, you know what I mean? Like, every religion thinks they're right. And so at the end of the day, we're divided. No matter how you do it, you're going to be divided if you're going to stand on your religion. And so what humanism says is, let's all be united in our humanity. Let's respect each other. Your belief is your belief. And for whatever it is, you're my brother in humanity.
Right.
You're my brother as a human being. But the irony of the humanism of today, the American Humanist Society or Association, is they want to say this in general, right? But in the abstract, they don't want to embrace black people as a whole, right? Like my brother said, he always told me, he told me a joke a long time ago, real quick. It makes a point more than it's funny, but it was a dude that loved dogs. He was a billionaire. He loved dogs. He was anything. Anybody came to him with a call with about the dogs, he was giving them money. Here's $1 million, here's $100 million, here's $1,000. So one day he was paving his driveway, and he just laid the cement down. He getting it perfect. He was getting it all together. Here come the street dog, tongue laid out, come walking in trance, and he goes straight across the concrete, leaving his paw mark. So the man got up, went around, went and got the dog, and beat the dog all the way to death. I mean, he did the dog dirty. Then he locked him up. The judge said, sir, you have been known for all of us to love dogs. You give all your money away to dogs. How is it that you, as soon as this dog, you beat this dog to death? The man said, I love dogs in the abstract, not in the concrete. Right? And today, that's how the humanist society is. They love black people in the abstract, not in the concrete. Right? So let's go in the hood, let's change things in the hood, let's change things in the prison, let's change things. No, that's not what they want to do. All they want to do is fight individuals that say that they believe in God. Now listen, what they don't understand is, if you convince the world that there is no God, right, and they really accept that shit, everybody gonna die. Because who's gonna stop these people from killing each other? Yeah. Because at that point, the most passionate, the most believable people are the ones who believe in God. So if you tell them ain't no God, they're gonna be like, well, what the fuck should I be good for? Yeah. What's the move now? And you're gonna have total anarchy. And these so-called intellectual atheists, they're gonna be the first one to go to the war. You know what I mean? Because 9 times out of 10, they live in their head. So you ain't ready to go to war with somebody who's an animal. These people who have been, you might say religion is the opium of the masses. In a lot of ways it is. But if you try to convince anybody that, like, you're gonna have a real problem on your hands. So all they want to do is fight religion. Like, I think atheists just mad with God. Right? Like, that's all it is. They just bitter and spiteful. Because why would you name yourself after something that doesn't? Why would you name yourself after something that doesn't exist? Like, the name means no God. Yeah. So why would you name yourself this, right? You're saying I'm not nothing. What the fuck is that? Yeah. So for me, you know what I mean? For me, like, that's the American Humanist Society. But our religion, our way of hip hop humanism was we jumped into that, we got into that because hip hop humanism is the thing that says, no, let's go into the hood, let's go into the barrio, let's go into the favelas, let's go into the trailer parks, and you see what I'm saying? Let's talk to everybody as if you're worthy of respect. Because when you talk to people and you raise the bar, they'll try to get to the top. You see what I'm saying? They'll reach for that bar. But if you lower the bar, we'll race each other to the bottom. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so let's speak to each other with respect, and that will get back. Because right now we're racing to the bottom. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, that's what the hip hop humanism is doing. And our champion Jay Renee, that's my heart. I love her to death because of what she's doing to bring that to the fruition, like, for real. Like, so these are the things that, these are the things that we doing with humanism, and that's why I fought so hard to get it established in prison, so that we would have a space where no matter what your religion was, we can all come together and look at each other as equals and find answers to common solutions. I mean, common problems.
Yeah. You can keep rocking with us, or this your last.
Yeah, no doubt. I can just no doubt.
Yeah, because we got questions for you, brother. You on fire right now.
Yeah, come with it.
Yo, so talk to us a little bit about your book, Humanism versus Racism, and how humanist views the construct of race and racism.
Well, basically, the reason is that again they antithetical to one another, because if you're a humanist, you can't be a racist, right? That's just, I mean, purely, like, again, everything is theoretical when it's on paper.
Mm-hmm.
But we all have a degree of racism in it. And when I say racism, I mean bias.
Of course.
Like, bias begins at home, and we don't. And see, every sin starts from every fight starts from a virtue. That's just a given, right? So when you're born, right, when you first born, your mother loves you and anything like that. You love your mother, you love your father, and then your little brother is born. Right? And now he's sitting on the lap you were sitting on, sucking on the thing you were sucking on, getting the food you was getting on, and now you want to beat the shit out of this dude. Like, who the fuck is this little nigga taking my shit? So now your mother says, baby, no, this is your little brother. You look out for your little brother. You love your little brother. Y'all the best. So now you're being taught, right? You're being taught to love your brother, right? And so you don't, when y'all go out that door, you don't let nobody mess with your little brother. What you just created is us versus them.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime you create us versus them, bro, you automatically gonna have those problems. You're gonna create tribalism. You're gonna create nationalism.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna create all kinds of isms and schisms because you've already created a divide,
mm-hmm.
right? And so humanism said, let's get past that divide, which, human nature won't let you totally get past it, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Bottom line is getting past the institutionalization of my bias against something that's other than self. Right? That's the problem with racism. Like, I don't buy into the whole PTSD from slavery, because what has lived since slavery is not slavery, but the institutionalization of racism.
Mm-hmm.
That's what fucked us up, right? Because if there had never been slavery, we'd still be fucked up because of racism.
Mm.
They didn't have to slave us to bring us to this point, because if you keep telling motherfuckers no because of what you look like, sooner or later you're going to hate what you look like.
Yeah.
And you're going to pass that down to your kids. You see what I'm saying? So that's what fucking us up. So what's been happening lately is what we need to happen, but we need it to happen sincerely, right? We need individuals to be sincere. I mean, for real, one thing I don't do is air out, as black people, air out dirty laundry in public, because at the end of the day, we have to deal with ourselves, with each other. But we got some people in our race bringing us some bullshit.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Taking advantage of our pain.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Taking advantage of our pain, taking advantage of our problems, because if the problems go away, they ain't gonna have no job no more.
Mm.
Right? So their job is what? To run out and say, racist, he did this, he did that, stop him from doing this, stop him from doing that. And then they become politicians, and then they become media, and then the media says, let's think about this. Let's use this as the narrative. Right? And so now that narrative gets reinforced until, and it keeps feeding on itself. So we do have some problems, and we're going to have to deal with those problems behind closed doors and look these people in the eye doing it and say, you some bullshit, and you're going to stop.
Yeah.
Period. But until that time, we've got to find those individuals who's going to come together sincerely, because trust and believe, I understand the protest, I understand the pain in the protest, but at the end of the day, we've been marching since we've been here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, nah. And all of that taking of a knee, I never was with that taking of a knee, because there's only two things you can do on your knees, right? And neither one of you going to win the war.
60 seconds remaining.
Stand on your feet. We got to stand like men. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that. We got to stand like men and confront the system eye to eye. And that's what's missing. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, man, like, I love, I'm not one to condone violence, but listen, man, you keep doing what you're doing, I'm going to break your goddamn jaw. We're not going to keep talking, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're not even going to respect that. If you keep slapping the shit out of me, I keep saying, sir, will you please? And no, sir, would you please? You ain't going to respect me, ain't?
You have 30 seconds remaining.
Ain't never going to hear nothing I got to say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you just got to get it out, and then you get respect.
For sure.
Yo.
Yeah. So what was the I guess what was the impact behind the George Floyd tragedy and the George Floyd verdict behind the wall? What did you see as a result of that?
First and foremost, first seen that George Floyd drink, man, that drink brought tears in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I've lived through Eleanor Bumpers, Amadou Diallo. I've lived through, you know what I mean? We going way, you know what I mean? Going all the way back to situations when, you know, this old woman, like a lot of people don't know about Eleanor Bumpers, but, you know, old woman wasn't even, she was mentally challenged.
Before Breonna Taylor.
You know, beat her, right? They killed her, and this is an old woman. I mean, here recently, an old white woman, 70 years old, 110 pounds. The man slammed her, the police slammed her to the ground, and then went and bragged about it. Tell me that ain't a coward. You just slammed an old woman to the ground, and you gonna tell me that was, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was badly to brag about. Like, that's the problem with the badge. It's not really about police reform. It's about they cowards. They hide behind that badge. They fucking cowards. They itches to the badge, real talk. They run to that badge and they run to that gun. But look at all the times when they ran up on us and got their ass whooped. But every time they run up on us, there got to be 5, 6, 7, 8 of us.
Yeah.
Right? So head up. Look how many times they get their ass smashed because they bitch in disguise. And it's that gun and that badge that keep that shit up off of them. Right? And so I say that to say that at the end of the day, when I seen that man, and the man called for his mother, that shit broke my heart.
Yeah.
Took me all the way down, cried like a baby. I didn't give a fuck. I cried like a baby, man. Because at the end of the day, what? How could you be that callous to be to feel like this is okay in broad daylight in front of everybody? Like, it's different if you did it at night with nobody around, or you thought nobody was around, right? Like Rodney King beat. They didn't think, you know, this is normal to them. They did this on the regular. It just happened. This particular time, it was a camera, right? But you're right there, 100 cameras pointed at you. You know you going on camera, and you still do it.
That should tell you about their level of comfort.
Right, but that's the point. And because of that level of comfort, we feed into that comfort in a lot of ways, right? I don't want to, you know, those who understand what I'm saying, but we feed into that comfort. If we continue to feed into that comfort, then what the fuck can you say about it? How can you complain? Malcolm X said, if something is yours about right, fight or shut the fuck up. He ain't say shut the fuck up, but he said, right? Straight up. I mean, real talk. Shit. I come through the line, we be coming through the line, and somebody be like, man, they don't want to, he keep shaking his phone, he ain't gonna give me nothing. Like, bro, talk to the man and tell me stop shaking his phone.
Right.
Tell me about that shit, nigga. Shut the fuck up and tell this nigga that. Because if you ain't gonna say nothing to him, what the fuck is you complaining for? You must like it.
Yo, Quad, this conversation is so dope. Yeah, I feel like I'm on the park.
You know what I mean?
I feel like I'm on the park bench. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I'm saying, going back to this, I didn't want to get off the topic with the George Floyd, but the thing was, it touched us in here. It touched a lot of brothers in here. And, you know, we felt like, you know, like God, you know, but when we seen the world respond like that was to me, that gave me hope in humanity. Right? I don't even really deal with that word hope, but that gave me new hope in humanity. Like, yo, maybe there's a chance that we not gonna kill each other, right? Because we gonna definitely destroy the world. That ain't no question. We gonna destroy the world. Like all that climate change, whether it's our fault or not, we gonna destroy the world because we not gonna stop doing what we do. Ain't nobody gonna turn on the ACs. Ain't nobody gonna stop driving the SUVs. We gonna destroy the world. It's the bottom line. Enjoy while it's here. But hopefully we won't kill each other before we do that, right? But that's that George Floyd, the energy that came from that. Now, I don't know if that energy came from suppressed guilt, right? Or I ain't like them, that type of mentality. I'm not like them, so let me be with you. And because if you notice, a lot of white people went too far, right? Like look at Portland, Oregon. These we want to protest or tell them they want to break windows and shit like that. Like they going too far. Like hold up, bro. Have you ever noticed somebody that you fuck with or you know they ain't really cut like that? But as soon as they get around 5 or 6 other motherfuckers, they the one that's extra. They didn't shoot your ass down. You know what I mean? But that's how I felt like a lot of these white people that jumped on the Black Lives Matter thing. Like, yo, calm down. Like, what the people go harder than me?
They co-opted the movement.
Because it was guilt. That was guilt coming out of them in a lot of ways. And like, I'm not questioning the sincerity of all white people. I'm simply saying I'm not going to take everybody on face value because you was at the meeting. I'm not going to take you face value because you had a T-shirt. Right? So let's not get it twisted. At the end of the day, it's in the actions, not in the goddamn talk. But I say that to say that we have the energy now, right? Collectively, black, white, LGBT, Asian, whatever women, we have the energy now to change the system. But the one thing that we're not aiming at is the one thing that can change it overnight. We keep worrying about protest marches and all of these type of bills that you're going to put in legislation, all of that there is irrelevant. I'm going to tell you what you do is one thing that we do, and ain't nobody said nothing about. There's an agency called the Moody's Bond Rating Agency, right? Moody's is not the only one, but Moody's is one of the biggest. Now, anybody who's up, well, I'm sure everybody in this room is familiar with the financial markets and stocks and bonds.
Mm-hmm.
Bonds, when it comes to capitalism, bonds is what controls capitalism. That's what capital is about. Investing capital. And capital is invested 9 times out of 10 through a bond. Now, what Moody's does, for those who don't know, is that they rate everybody's bond. Everybody, the corporate America to a country. A whole country has a rating. States have ratings. So what Moody's does is say, okay, let me look at your financial, your makeup. Okay, Microsoft, let me look at your books. Let me say, okay, I'm going to give you an A+ rating. What that A+ rating does is it makes it costs less money for you to borrow on the open market. So now when you put out a bond, your percentages can be lower, right? And you want it takes less money for you to borrow money, right, from the public.
Mm-hmm.
But if any kind of way Moody's feels like, kind of risky, we're gonna give you a B, then that means hundreds of millions more you want to spend in order to borrow money, right? It's a credit rating. That's all it is for a country or a corporation. That's why you get junk bonds from, because sometimes you get to the point where, though, man, you ain't shit. You a junk bond, right? And so invest at your own risk. Michael Milken found a way to play that game. Salute to him because that was a hell of a play.
Mm-hmm.
But I say all that to say, if we go to Moody's, right, if we put pressure on Moody's and say, you have to create a social conscious criteria for corporations and countries to get an A+ rating. Right? They have to do certain things. They have to meet certain quotas. They have to have certain diversity programs in place. If you do that, then every corporation, every country, every state, every municipality has to play by your rules, because if they don't hold to that social justice, then they'll lose their bond rating. And a lot of cities can't afford that.
Fuck up the
you
bag.
don't gotta defund the police. What you defund is America.
Yeah.
Don't defund the police. Do what they did to South Africa. You divest America like they did South Africa. What happened when they divested from South Africa? They broke apartheid. And they let Martin Malcolm Mandela out of prison and became president. That's what happened, because they divested from the country. Fuck the police. Really, literally. Fuck the police. Like Ice Cube and fuck the police as a topic. The real talk is divest America. If you divest America, you'll break their goddamn bank in one day.
Hit them in the pocket, yeah.
And every corporation will say what y'all want.
Yeah.
Won't take near protest. Won't take near bill to get back. What y'all want. And then the second thing, what we tell them is, listen, we ain't gonna fuck with your bond rating. All we want you to do is implement a corporate reparations tax. And the money that y'all got in offshore banking, the trillions that y'all got sitting over there in the Cayman Islands, is enough to pay for reparations for everybody. You give us 2% of that annually from every corporation, and we'll leave your fucking bond alone. But if not, we taking it off. Fuck it. If you can't have it, I can't have it too. Let's burn this whole bitch down and start from scratch. Because now that we know the game, that y'all practice playing since y'all brought us over here, now let's burn this shit down to the ground and start from scratch. We're gonna take it.
Scratch. We're gonna make it too.
From sea to sea.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to play. They don't want to play head up. They don't want to burn this bitch down and start from scratch, because then we'll build pyramids and they'll be back where they was.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know where they was at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So. Yeah, that's how we play.
Yeah, Rob.
If you really want to win this game, that's how you play.
Man, I just want to say, man, sitting there talking to you, it's like an OG came through. We all having a beer, you just dropping jewels, man. This is dope, man. I appreciate
that, big.
I appreciate that. Let me ask you, man, how do you feel? How do you feel about the narrative or the term political prisoner?
That's a very good question. I mean, because technically we all prisoners of politics, because that's why we're here. I mean, the crack law, those who were prison under the crack law, of course, that was politics that in prison. Those who were in prison as super predators in the early 90s, like myself, was the narrative that Biden put forward. Like all of a sudden now he's the champion. Like, let's not forget that. Like let's hold him accountable, right? Like all the questions we got. Let's not forget that. So that was politics, and that's why we got. I mean, because remember, Bill Clinton killed a mentally challenged individual. The man was so mentally challenged that when they gave him his last meal, when Clinton was the governor of Arkansas, when he gave him his last meal, the man said, "I'm gonna save the rest of this for tomorrow." That's how mentally changed. He didn't even know he was about to be executed. And Clinton still executed this man. And then they gave him the presidency. And on his way, don't forget, he stepped on Sister Soldier. He used Sister Soldier as a stepping stone to the presidency. We forget that. Yeah. All of a sudden, he played the saxophone on goddamn Arsenio Hall, and he's the first black president. Yeah. Fuck out of my face. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, come on, don't play with me. You know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, that's the politics that has enslaved us. I mean, excuse me, I don't like to use that word. That has incarcerated us. Without a shadow of a doubt. Mm-hmm. Right? It's no question that we are put in prisoners of politics. But to be a political prisoner is to take away from individuals who, at the end of the day, that like Stephen Biko, right? Like let's not say that the brothers. And again, it's not to say there's nobody over here that's going through what Stephen Biko went through over there. That's not what I'm saying. Right. But it wasn't for the same reasons. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't for the same. Over here, it was racism. It was the individual hate of one racist ass tribal police or 3 or 5 who may have beat you or shot you on the yard. George Jackson, God bless his dead. We understand that, and we understand where that came from. But Stephen Biko was challenging a whole system, and he had to be quieted. Like that's a different narrative. Let's respect those brothers who did that stood up. Because when we stand up over here, keep in mind we have rights. Like at the end of the day, they don't always respect them, but theoretically we got them. Stephen Biko had none. And let's respect that level of it. You know what I mean? Let's not take away from who they are. Right? So when you say political prisoners, if you're going to say there's a spectrum to it, I'm with you. But if you put us all in one lump, like the crackhead that stole the TV set and went to prison is the same as Stephen Biko, no, I totally disagree. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, real talk. So now, like we have to have boundaries. We have to have levels. And again, a lot of times we engage our emotions before we engage our intellect. I can't even watch a slave movie no more because it's emotionally you want to kill these motherfuckers. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like when I see Quentin Tarantino, when I look at how these motherfuckers act like when he made the Django, that wasn't one of the most racist fucking movies in the world because he got to say nigga, and we accepted it.
But all his movies got that.
Like,
yeah.
Like, you're not going to do me like that. You think I'm going to give you a pass because it's a movie? Nah, motherfucker. But the only part I like about the Django was at the end when they started busting the goddamn white people in, blowing their goddamn brains out. Word up. That was cathartic for me. Like, yes, goddamn right. Okay, yeah. Goddamn. But at the end of the day, I say all that to say that engaging that level, we have to be mindful that our intellect is not being engaged, it's our emotions. Mm-hmm. And when they get you to act off your emotions, that's when they win. See, they playing chess. So we got to engage them intellectually. We can outthink them. We can beat them. Mm-hmm. There's no question about that. But we got to stop reacting emotionally. Every time something happens, just because a black or white person don't like you, don't mean they racist. Sometimes you just an asshole. Yeah. You know, like sometimes you just ain't shit. So let's not confuse that. You know what I mean? And every person that says nigga ain't really racist. And I say that to say this in this sense. That if I know I can use a word to take you all the way off your square, you think I ain't going to use it? Absolutely. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. If I think that all I got to do to press your buttons is to call you nigga, and I can get you all the way off.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
And beat you at your own game. You think I can't? I won't. Right? That's the thing. That's the main thing. So, but when you call me a nigga and I outplay you, and at the end of the day you looking up for me from your knees, then God damn, you on your knees to a nigga? What the fuck that nigga do? And that's what they did.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
I got one more for y'all.
Bet.
You're speaking of 3 big, huge hip hop heads, right? And whenever a person is a poet, rapper, author, screenwriter, whatever, and that variant, tell me what are some of the songs that help contribute towards your creative process?
Oh my God! Like man, we gotta be 70 more phone calls, man. Listen, first and foremost, I'm from North, right? So I'm a club head all the way. Like club music is my religion, and I give my life. When tears coming out my motherfucking eyes when I hear this, as long as I got you. Or it ain't over, or it's not over, let no man from the thunder. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, Law and Order. I mean, it's going on. Shaka Khan's Clouds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these songs right there gave me my soul, man. Like, I'm talking about my soul, man. Like, real talk. Like, man, listen, like, these songs, when they sang them, even there was a song by a guy named Carl Beans called Born This Way, and it was because he was gay. But when he tells you his story, you ain't got no respect, but you can't do nothing but respect it. Because he's coming, he said, this is who I am, right? And so, in music should always be able to embrace who you are. Nobody should have to be somebody else when it comes to expressing themselves musically, right? That's the bottom fucking line. And if you can understand music, you understand Jimi Hendrix when he made that guitar talk. You understand Mahalia Jackson. I mean, even with Mahalia Jackson, if it wasn't for Mahalia Jackson, there would be no I Have a Dream speech. Because remember, Martin was kind of saying what he was saying. He was kind of, what the hell, you okay, that's cool. But then Mahalia said, tell him to drink about the dream, Martin.
Yeah.
Tell him about the dream, Martin. And now, everything went from there, but we forget that. That's what she told him.
That's right.
He didn't do that on his own. Because remember, he had did that speech in Detroit probably like two weeks ago. And she said, tell him about the drink. Because she knew he was messing up. He knew he was getting off track. She said, baby, I got you. Tell him about the drink. That was the song. And I say that to say that. So that's what it's about. Mahalia Jackson inspired me. Etta James inspired me when you get beat, when you at the bottom. When you drinking white liquor, you know what I mean? When the world is fucked up and you got white liquor that burn your goddamn gut, you gotta have that energy, sweat and anything, right? But then when you on your fly shit, you on your Sade shit, right? Like you all on your fly shit. When you know what I mean? You coming through with this shit, and yeah, like what the fuck can you do with that? And then then of course Luther. You know what I mean, with that Luther, ain't nothing like Luther. So these songs, and then when I talk about hip hop, man, you can't. I mean, without shout, without hands down, the best rapper to ever do it, best MC to ever do it. Nas, to me, there's no question. Hands down. The God Rakim, love him to death. But Nas is Rakim and Coogee Rap together. Put them together, you got Nas. That's what Nas comes. And Nas there's nobody that fuck with Nas word for word, pound for pound. But so these are the people that inspire me. Ice Cube with his storytelling, hell of a storytelling. He don't get the props for the stories he told. Once upon a time in the Project Show, that's a funny. I mean, that whole story funny. I'm getting faded. He's bugging. He's like, yo, he's talking about creeping. He got to run thick. Nah, Cube is a hell of a storyteller. Scarface, a hell of a storyteller. So when we go back to rappers, I mean, we talking about. I mean, Ghostface and Ray, to me, that's what them and all after them all beat. But Ghost and Ray, that purple tape, man, listen, you give me that purple tape, I'll write you 20 movies.
Yo, you should do it, son.
You know what I mean? Off of every fucking song, I'm gonna write 5 that purple tape is tight knot. Like Ghost is my nigga, bro. I remember when he held the book for me. He met my people Monet in Boston.
Dope.
And he took a picture with the book. Man. And that right there, man, made my day, man. Ghost, my nigga. I love the God to death.
Big shout out to Ghostface. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you talk about even going all the way back to Run, when Run was Run. Like people don't know Run was serious. Like Run, like that was, everybody born from Run.
Right.
Run was respecting my man Africa Bambaataa and them and Melly Mel. But these niggas was wearing goddamn space boots. He was Parliament with rap. He was Parliament rappers. You know what I mean? Yeah. They was into the mothership type shit. And running into fuck that. We gonna rock the Godfathers with the Adidas. You know what I mean? And niggas was like, oh shit. That's what we wear right now.
Yeah.
And change the game. So I gotta pay mad respect to Run. And a lot of niggas, I gotta respect LL. Because a lot of people, LL was the one that changed rapping from what it was to what it is. Like, niggas wasn't rapping like L with the wordplay and how he was bringing it. You know what I mean? Like, fucking Wu Barnes out, I'm busting out ass high. I say the type of rhymes that make it cheese me said, This nigga was doing it back then. This nigga said he was the greatest of all time in the history of rap itself on the second album.
He coined that term. He coined the term to go.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Told him in the second album, Biggie and Duffler, he was already said. So I say all this to say, like, these niggas raised me. You know what I mean? Even Dane, that's Big Bro. I love that nigga to death. Dane is with it. And he's a hell of a storyteller. Like, Dane is one of the best that don't
Nightmares.
Like, when you listen to the Lancey Street,
and Nightmares,
the Fella, Dane, all of these are stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Dane is an animal. And Dane once he told me that he writes an outline. He would write an outline for his raps before he even started. He know the ending before that. And I learned that from him. And now unless I write the ending first. Let's write the ending first. If you don't start with the ending, you know how you know where you will
begin. Yeah. Let's try to get a few let's try to get a few rapid fire questions in there because I know we gotta wrap in a few minutes. So books going from paperback to audio books, beneficial or not?
Yeah, absolutely. Any platform that increases readership or viewership or the audience is definitely positive.
All right. And I know you mentioned, there's a pro and con
to everything. I keep in mind, always a pro and con. You have to weigh it yourself, but for me, every growth is positive.
Okay. And you also mentioned that you ghost wrote, you don't got to say who you ghost wrote for, but is it true that you ghost wrote for rappers, books for rappers?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. A couple of them, yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, that was, you know what I mean? Because I don't, one thing about me, I don't need the spotlight. My people always told me you could be in the booth in the back of the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see but not be seen. That's why I play.
Okay.
I got something to ask you. Brooklyn Nets or New Jersey Nets?
Huh?
Brooklyn Nets or New Jersey Nets?
Man, y'all can have them. You know what I mean? Like, listen, nobody gave a fuck about the Nets. I don't remember anybody having any Nets gear. I don't Listen, we watched the Knicks shit. The New York Knicks shit, and keep in mind, like New York and North wasn't the best of friends, right? We didn't always get involved. Then when it came to gear, oh yeah, New York Knicks, yeah. To this day, I love the Knicks. I love the Knicks. I'm not really. Everybody always asks me, what's your football team? What's your baseball team? My team is whoever covers. I'm a gambler. Whoever covers. But, you know, on the low, when it's real quiet, ain't nobody looking, I pump my fist when the Knicks win. You know what I mean? Because that's still fair. My man Huey just got 8, but he bet on the Knicks and got 8. That's my brother right there. He's broken hearted, so I'm asking Huey not to be the fool yet. But the Knicks broke his heart when they lost to Atlanta.
Man.
All right, mine is Tyler Perry or Spike Lee.
Oh, come on, bro. You know, like listen, Spike, Tyler Perry's a hell of a businessman, and he has a hell of a formula. But what movie are you going to put up against Do the Right Thing? What movie are you going to put up against Fever, Malcolm X? What you going to put the Five Bloods? What you going to put up against that Tyler has a formula. He's knows the fables movies mostly, morality tales. Right? The only time he really stepped outside of that is when he remade For Color Girl. Yeah. Right? Which was a bold move, and I salute him for that. But I Can Do Bad by Myself, The Reunion, they're all basically morality tales. Where with Spike, what are you getting out of it is what you put into it. Right? So, Mo Better Blues is my favorite movie in the world. I love Mo Better Blues.
Classic. That's a good
classic. You know what I mean? Like, that was my favorite. I remember when Denzel said in that joint, the girl said, I like her dress. I should go. She said I should go over there and say XYZ. He said, yeah, but you're not. That was you know what I mean? But that was gangster. He didn't have the courage, and he just said, yeah, but you're not. And that was the end of the goddamn conversation. That was Denzel. That was classic Denzel right there.
Man, tell us what you got going on with Prison Riot Radio, and you doing work with comic books too?
Yeah, we started a comic book. We're doing a graphic novel line because I want to reach out to that audience as well. And, because I really want to get into animation, and that's really what I want to do. I want to do gangster cartoons, ill shit, urban shit. You know what I mean? Like some ill fly shit. So I really want to get into those. And so that's a slow process because opening at that market, they're really exclusive markets, so you got to come correct. So step by step, we opening that up. I'll open that up with Seth Ferrante, a friend of mine, beautiful brother. That's my man. Consider him a brother as well. So that. But with Prison Riot Radio, man, I just ask everybody, man, please support that because again, it's about just come through. You can just come through out there and record something and say, to the brothers and sisters aside, hold your head. Here's the video. You know what I mean? And listen to what people say up there. Like, listen to a brother when they say, this is what's going on in here. Like, a lot of people judge, like, you shouldn't have committed the crime. That may be true, but at the end of the day, like, if that was your brother, would you want to be treated like this? Like, they do some foul shit in here. And it ain't got to be so foul where they breaking your jaw or killing you. The foul thing that they do, they don't treat you with humanity, man. They treat you like, you know what I mean? Like, the way they talk down to you, and when you respond in light ways, then they can penalize you and they walk away with a smirk. Now you want to turn up to a whole nother level, but the further you go, the further down you go. So listen to people because you can save a life. You know what I mean? Real talk. Like a motherfucker might be ready to random. You ain't got to even put your address up there. You know what I mean? Just be like, yo, keep your head up. You know how much that mean to somebody that's locked up?
Yeah.
You know, somebody like, keep your head up, yo, bro, I see you. Hold your head, man. I heard that rap. You ill. Man, come on, bro. You give a person another reason to get better that next day. Yeah. But if you don't say nothing to them and you don't contribute to their outcome, then, bro, you can't get mad when they come out that motherfucker and do something different. And you the victim of it.
Yeah. Man, I see you on the board of Barred Business, a pending community development financial institution that raises money for the businesses.
Listen. I would go. I'm talking about listen. Let me focus. Brigitte Simpson. She is one of the most talented. That she's a goddess, right on top of the world. Like she is one of the most beautiful, articulate women I've ever met in my life. And Barred Business is for the formerly incarcerated entrepreneurs. No one in the country is doing it on the level that she wants to do. She is doing this for those that's coming home, because a lot of times you come home, they don't want to give you a job. You can't even, a lot of times you can't even adopt. You can't even rent an apartment. So when you come home, how you going to live? How you going to love? How you going to grow? If you can't, just because of your crime, you can't do none of these things. So she said, you know what? We're going to do it ourselves. And that's where Barred Business was born at. So she is, like I said, man, listen, I need y'all, like, whatever you do, get behind Barred Business, because there's so many ideas in here, man. And the sister is like that, man, like, for real, man. Like, she's a star. And when you hear her, you will understand why I'm voting for her for president. I don't even know if she's going to run. But if any kind of way they got something at the bottom, they write in the name, I'm writing Brigitte Simpson because she deserves that. But yeah, that's, Barred Business is serious. And Prison Riot Radio is on the side of that, because everything that we do is about lifting the people up. Like my people's BL, B. Sherelle out of Philly, she has DodgeJimCrow.com. It's a record label, the only non-profit record label for people incarcerated. She goes in prisons and records individuals that's rapping and push their shit, right? Like, she is amazing. BL is amazing. And, like I said, we're not the only organization doing these. These are the thousands of organizations. I'm asking, because what I want to ultimately do is do a Zoom monthly for our people, man, that we can come.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Hear what's going on. But what I want to leave y'all with is this. Like I said, man, we got to win this race, man. And like I said, look at that bond issue, look at that movies issue, because that's how we can win this joint. We won't have to worry about nothing. I promise you, one move, we've done it. But like I said, I appreciate this opportunity. And, whatever anybody want to get at me, man, if y'all could post my address, post the everything, the .com, like, let's continue the conversation. And whenever y'all want me back, I'm going to be there with bells on.
Yo, we going to hold you to that, bro. We going to hold you to that, yo. I appreciate you even giving us this interview. This has been a very dope discussion, man. Thank you to your sister also for quarterbacking this.
Thank you, sis.
Oh, no, absolutely. That's my baby girl right there. That's my baby girl right there. I can't go without shouting her out because she'll shoot. So I love baby girl, and I appreciate this. Like I said, anytime, man, and I talk to everybody out there. Yo, peace to the gods, peace to the gangsters.
Peace. Hold your head, bro. Man.